Welcome one and welcome all. This is G with Allastrology. I am really happy to be here with you guys. I am going to touch in on the September energies. There's already a video out for the beginning of September, which covered the September full moon. This video, we're going to highlight the September new moon. And in the September new moon, it is the time where we set our intentions. It is the time when we are using universal energies, the universal frequencies, and working in conjunction with the universe, with the cosmos, with the stars. We are understanding how to flow within their energetic expression. We are going to work with them by understanding where those powers are, where those emanations are going to be coming from, what degrees and in what sign. Every sign of the zodiac has an emanation, has a quality, a trait, a characteristic. Every sign is a personality. Planets have personality. And as we take a look at this big circular chart that's got multiple circulars charts within it, we're going to dissect this. I'm going to walk through this with you energetically together. We're going to hold hands and we're going to go through these times. We're going to walk through 2020. It's been a rough ride. We are experiencing things we've never experienced before. And so my goal here is to try to break things down, right? To dissect them, to explicate them in ways that stuff makes sense. To take things that are strange, that are odd, that are new, that are different, and say, hey, look at it. Look at it at its bare energetic level. This is all this is. It seems crazy, it seems scary, but this is one of the ways in which we grow. When we can see it on paper and we can see the angles or the trines, when we see the relationship and the conversations, when we see the planets, all these little things here in black, and we see the signs that they're in, the real colorful ones, right? The sign of Cancer, the sign of Gemini, the sign of Taurus, the sign of Aries, then we get a better understanding that these are nothing more than different personalities we're dealing with. And so we know what to expect from them, right? The Leo, fun, laughter, energetic, is the sunlight, is the spotlight. Theater can be dramatic, right? Leo energy, risk-taking, very brave energy, right? Courageous. That's Leo. I want to have fun with my body, right? This is Leo energy. So when we understand each of these different signs and then we see these planets in those signs, we have this wealth of knowledge of the times that are coming. We have a wealth of knowledge of what to expect. We do honor free will. I'm sorry, there's a truck. We do honor free will, and we understand that the different emanations and the freedoms can vary, but at least knowing the energetic weather, whether there's going to be lightning or whether it's going to be sunny, whether it's going to be humid, whether it's going to be snowing or high winds. You know, this is all that is. So let's join hands together. Let's keep our ears open. Let's keep our mind open and be ready to elevate, because folks, on a large scale, this is what this is about. Us embracing our unity within this here community, rising together, understanding what we do to ourselves, we do to another, and what you do to someone else, you do to yourself. We are all connected. We are all one. We're going to focus around mid-month of September because this is when the new moon occurs. Let me get a sip of water here. Holy moly. The September new moon is on the 17th, and it's at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. It's at 25 degrees in Virgo energy. I need one more sip of water. Maybe two more. We'll see. I think I inhaled too much sage on that last little spiel. We're going to do a little refresher before we dip into the degrees and all that. We're going to go over some basics. As much as I want to go in deep about some of the things that, people who've been looking at this for a while realize, I don't want to exclude anybody. That is so important to me. The exclusion factor. I'm all about inclusion. Okay. So please, as you're listening to this, if you're new here, welcome. If you don't know, or if you want to know, or if you're like, gee, I am new, then please pound new to astrology. Just put it down below in the comments, say I'm new, right? Because then I'll make sure that you get your rising sign. I will make sure that you have at least that to start with, right? And then I will make sure to be even more inclusive, and to always make sure that I point out some of the more basic things, the fundamental, the stepping stones, that the foundational stones of astrology with every video, because it's really important to understand some of those basics. Welcome if you're new here. I am G, and I am happy to have you. My goal is to touch in with you, to literally touch in with your soul, to speak something that speaks to your soul, for our souls to literally communicate and relate. And I believe energetically we can do that. You can hear my voice. You can not only hear my voice and the words that are coming out of it, but you can pick up on the frequencies that emanate out of that voice. And hopefully there is something there that will ring true for you, because these are universal energies, and I'm speaking a universal language. Even though there's a part of your mind that may not get it, there's another degree of your being that says, hold on a minute, I may not understand this, but if I hang around long enough, there might be some nuggets here I can walk away with. And I'm honored to be able to be part of that process with you. If you are an oldie but a goodie, thank you for coming back. Thank you for showing support to this channel and showering me with your love in the comment section. And I'd love nothing more than meeting you there. Down below, meet me there. Introduce yourself to me. Tell me a little bit about you, who you are. Tell me a little about what you're going through right now. Tell me what your pain is, what your struggles are. Give me some information. Let me connect in with you so that I can find ways to find out what piece of hope, what piece of light you need that will help you to move forward, because 2020 is no joke, right? This has been a tough going. We have been experiencing things we've never lived through before. We're experiencing a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, a lot of fight mentality. There's fear, right? There's all this anxiety. There's all this territory of the unknown and uncertainty. But guess what? When we look at the basic foundational energies, folks, we can actually see it's a blueprint. It's a map. It's an energetic frequency grid, I like to call it. And these things, these planets, there are scientific calculations from NASA that we know how fast certain planetary bodies make. We know they travel a certain distance in a certain amount of time, and we can equate dates to those degrees in which they move. And this is how we get a window into the future. It is no different than looking at the calendar and saying, oh, December. I live in Chicago. In December, we're going to likely have some snow. And if we don't have snow, we're going to have 30-degree weather. It's the energetic weather. June in Chicago, I'm saying, okay, that's summer. I know shorts and T-shirts, right? I know to get prepared and what to wear. And that's what this is. An understanding of the energetic weather, understanding what kind of water we're going to be in, and how to navigate those waters of life. So we're going to start with the basics. We're going to start with the sign of Aries. And on this particular chart, the location of it is not that important because it's based on the time of the new moon, which means the outer wheel will actually turn. Now, I know that sounds crazy, so let's stop the thinking on that right there so we don't get any more confused. But in astrology, one of the things that works to help people is to understand astrology and numerology are connected. So number 1, Aries, and that's also the house placement, number 1. Number 2, Taurus, all right? Number 2, Taurus, house placement number 2. Number 3, Gemini, right? Number 4, the sign of Cancer. Okay, number 5 is Leo. Number 6 is Virgo. Number 7 is Libra energy, Libra. Number 8 is Scorpio. Number 9 is Sagittarius. Number 10 is Capricorn. Number 11 is Aquarius. And number 12, the last and final house, is Pisces energy. So Aries is number 1. It's the initiation. It's starting. It's the beginning. Okay? Pisces, because it was number 12, that's the ending. That's the closure. That's we've completed a cycle. Okay? So knowing some of those basic things help, right? And if we know that Aries is the beginning, whenever we see the planet Mars, because Mars rules the sign of Aries, we know that the definition of these two are pretty much interchangeable. Okay, Mars also represents your body, right? Aries is when you came into being, when you not just simply took the physical form, but when the physical form popped out of mama's body. Okay, and that was Aries, right? Head first. Okay, that's Aries, the ram, head first. It represents the body. Okay, now without going any further into that, every one of these signs has a planet that rules them. And so Mars rules Aries, and Mars is this circle with this arrow. Okay, it's at 27 degrees and 43 minutes. The big number is the degree, the little number is the minutes, and there is the planet Mars. Okay, so Mars rules the sign of Aries, which looks like this red V. Okay. Now, we touched on that specifically because Mars has been a big area of focus, folks, and will continue to be all the way until the end of 2020. Mars is a planet of action, of doing, of initiating. It's also called and also known as a trigger planet. They call Mars malefic because wherever Mars goes, it starts stuff. I call Mars the instigator, right? But it takes action. It doesn't just talk. Mars does the walk. Mars moves. It is the physical body. It takes action. So whenever Mars moves around the chart, that whatever sign it dips into, it begins something new there. Okay? So yes, in January, Mars will be entering Taurus. And yes, folks, Taurus is your money, your income. It is what you take in. It is your resources. It is what you value. And so that's just a tidbit into the future that will be in January. Mars will be moving into Taurus. And whenever a planet enters a new sign, it is a new beginning for that area of your life. Knowing your birth time, your birth date, your birth city, your birthplace gives me your rising sign. And once I have that rising sign, then I know where your Taurus energy is in your chart, which means I'll know where your Taurus energy is in your life. And it's not about G knowing it. It's about G knowing it and G sharing it with you. That way you have an indicator as to what's going to happen in January. What will Mars be initiating in January for you? What area of your life? Yes, it'll be a Taurus theme, but what house will it be in? And I can only help you with that by you commenting your birth digits below, and that means your full birth digits, folks. Okay, so now let's get into the depth of the new moon. At the beginning of the month, we had a Piscean full moon, and it was at 10 degrees of Pisces. Okay, the full moons are all about a culmination and a closure, but this was a really big closure. Okay, because it was in Pisces. The moon is already always about a closure because it rules the sign of Cancer. It's a completion of some sort because it's an elevation of emotions. And when our emotions get to a certain level, it's almost to the degree where you're like, okay, I'm done with that. I've released that. You know, the tears come flowing out. I've done it. It was stressful, it was hard, or it was joyful. It's a culmination. It's a release. And it, being in Pisces, it's doubly a completion. It's a double, like, okay, been there, done that, I'm done, right? I went through all the 11 signs, and Pisces is the culmination of all the previous signs before it. Yes, it's the knowledge from all the signs before it. The sign of Pisces holds a lot of wisdom here, a lot of wisdom in the sign of Pisces. So depending upon where that happened in your life, there was a closure, okay? And that doesn't mean it happens overnight, but emotionally, because it's the full moon. There's an emotional closure on something. And that could simply be you get so upset over something, you decide, you know what? That's not worth my sanity. I will not let myself ever get that upset over that thing, that event, that person ever again. I'm wiping the slate clean, and I'm done with that. Right? It's easier said than done. I get it. But it has to begin somewhere. And then from there, it's little steps, it's baby steps. But something did occur, okay? So what happens is later in the month, as time goes on, the planet Jupiter will actually stand still. And when Jupiter stands still, Jupiter says we need to add to things. We need to do something. We need to that's what Jupiter does. It expands, but it's expanding in Capricorn, a tangible thing, right? And Capricorn is all about the structures of our world. Now, this is big things in our world, 3D, tangible. So this is business and government. Jupiter will be standing still midway through the month, just days before the new moon on the 17th. Now, why do I bring that up? Because it's in Capricorn energy, all right? And Capricorn energy sends a 90-degree angle to this energy over here, right? To the Aries energy. It's cardinal, it's cardinal, it's 120 degrees away, which means a square. Squares are tension, stress, and testing. Now, Jupiter, once it stands still, it will be moving forward. Okay, it'll slowly go to 18, then 19. You see Jupiter here. It might be a little tricky to see because there's a lot going on in Capricorn, which there has been for a long time, folks. And what we're going to find out, or what we're going to be re-experiencing, are some of the similar themes in your life. So in your private life and on a big global scale, some of the similar themes we experienced in spring of 2020. Because Jupiter is going to stand still and move forward and get closer to Pluto. We had Jupiter and Pluto together and Saturn. They were all really close together, okay? And so this brought up different things that had to do with the structures in our 3D world. When I say our 3D world, that's anything that you can visually see with your eyes, something that you can knock on wood, like that's tangible. I can hold it in my hands. That's 3D. But it's big government. It's big business. It's power, because Pluto is power, right? And so Saturn also at the end of September will be standing still. And when this all occurs, it's like, okay, there's a reevaluating of some of the choices and some of the rules that were set in place. There's a reevaluation that's going to happen. And we're going to be taking a look at it, right? Individually in our lives, some of the changes we've had to make, right? And Jupiter likely, because it likes to add to things, it's a possibility. Jupiter may say, well, we're going to implement these new rules, right? Might be a new rule altogether, like swap some out, or it might be in addition to. We have to see how this works out, folks. This will look differently in each of your lives because you have free will, okay? But knowing some of the broad themes, the broader general themes, helps to move forward. Knowing that right there will help you because you can see down the road into the month, okay? The new moon at the 17th, all right, a new moon, first of all, let me expand this just a little bit here. If it will let me, it's not working. All right, we'll just stay where we are. The new moon is at 25 degrees. See the sign of the crescent moon, 25 degrees, big number, and 01. So that's 25 degrees and 1 minute. And then we have 25 degrees and 1 minute in the sun. So when the sun and the moon are together, that creates the new moon energy. This is a time when we wish. This is a time when we set our intentions. New moon energy is powerful because your emotions have power. And the sun lights up the emotions of the moon. Anytime you see the moon, that represents emotions, okay? It also has feminine energies to it. The feminine energies, they have the power to create. It just is what is. Doesn't have to be female, but it's feminine energies, and every single one of us holds masculine and feminine energies within our being, okay? Now, this is going to be in Virgo, and Virgo energy at 25 degrees, all right, on the 17th of September at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. So we have a new moon in Virgo. We have blue lines. We're going to look at these blue lines. Yes, there are red lines. We know all about the red lines. The red lines, obviously, they don't look so hot, right? And they don't. There's stress and tension and testing usually, okay? The blue lines, we have a couple of them. We have the moon and the sun sending a nice blue line to Saturn. Saturn is that letter H that has that cross at the top. It's at 2527, so that's a trine because they're in Earth. They have matching energies. See the green and the green? That depicts the energy. They're showing you they have similar energy. Virgo is Earth, mutable Earth, which means flexible Earth energy. flexible in thinking. Virgo, earth energy. And this is Capricorn energy. It's got this funny little sign. I didn't create the symbol. I just know that's the Capricorn symbol. The goat energy keeps climbing, doesn't stop. It's a goal, it's an ambition, and willing to work hard for it and never ceasing. Just keep on going one step at a time. Keep rising one step, one rung on the ladder, then you grab for the next. You just keep climbing. That's Capricorn energy. This is your earth energy. This is cardinal earth. The word cardinal means nothing more than taking action. So we have Saturn working really well with the sun and the moon. And so this means this intention time for the new moon is powerful. You will have the ability to sit down and say, what do I want to do for work? Work I will be doing in my future. This is ambitions and goals, how you express your best, how you show up in the world. This is what Capricorn energy is. And Saturn there is sending a beautiful beam, the authority figure, Saturn, sending a beautiful supportive beam to your wishes at this time. Now, Virgo, being the tangible earth energy, Virgo is your health routines, it's your work routines, it's your projects. This is the job, man, the job. This is the Virgo energy. I love Virgo energy because it's all about my ability to think, to figure things out, to be the troubleshooter. Virgo is the troubleshooter of the zodiac. Virgo knows what steps it takes to get to the goal, right? Like how many of us, we have all these goals written down, these dreams like, oh, I want to do this one day or I want to do this. But then when it comes down to the nitty gritty of, well, how do I get there? Like what steps do I have to take to get to that? Go to Virgo. Virgo knows. And if you don't have a lot of strong Virgo energy in your chart, you connect with a Virgo in your life and they will help you. Talk to them about it. They'll be like, well, did you ever try this? What about this? What about this? Like Virgos they're like the jack of all trades. They know like a little bit about everything. And some of them know a lot about a lot of things. Just depends on their chart and depends about their expertise, right? But they know a lot because they have the ability to look at different perspectives of things. They can look at it like 1,000 different ways. They can dissect things. They can see the details. They see what's missing, right? That's why Virgo energy and Sagittarian energy have friction and testing and tension because Sag doesn't see the details. Sag sees the big picture, the future, the down the line. But Virgo says, wait a minute, you're going to need to take care of this and this and this before you can accomplish these things, right? That's a really quick cheat to see if you got a square in a chart. 30, 60, 90. Yes, each sign represents 30 degrees. 90 degrees away is a square. 30, you don't count this side. 30, 60, 90, there's your square. 120 is the trine, right? 30, 60, 90, 120. See, green and green, that's a trine. A trine adds ease. It kind of means something just drops in your lap. And it adds ease because you didn't really have to work for it. Okay? A square means, oh God, this is not going to be easy. We have to have conversations. We have to be willing to compromise. We may not be able to do what we were doing before. Sometimes we have to sacrifice. We may have to do like 7 things instead of 2 things, right? Where the trine is all about, oh, hey, baby, here you go. I'm just going to hand this to you and you got it. That's what a trine does. The caution with trines, that because it was so simple, we expect it to always be that simple. And instead, just recognize a trine is a blessing, okay? You know, it's not always going to be that simple. So just don't get caught in the trine trick bag and you will be fine. So at the new moon, we're setting an intention about work, about a work routine, a work habit, a job. Okay, if you're in a job you don't like, this is a great time to start to set an intention on a job that you want. You got to be realistic, and you're going to be, because Saturn's going to be part of the wish. Saturn is going to be communicating beautifully with the sun and with the moon. They're going to be talking intimately. Saturn is about responsibilities. Saturn's going to say, hey, this is what needs to be done. Like if you want this wish, this is what you're going to need to do. And so you're going to find you're going to be probably really realistic. And that's going to be beautiful because sometimes we wish upon a star and we wish for something that seems so out of our reach, right? And it's not to say that those things aren't possible, but then we get discouraged when we like wake up the next morning and, it's not there, right? So it's like, wait a minute. This is more of a reality a tangible reality. And so this is what I like, because the sign of Capricorn represents our financial stability. How can you create financial security for your future? And Saturn will be communicating. They will be getting along very well with your wishes. So this is a really beautiful, I love this. I can't speak more about this. I love that we finally have energy in Virgo, because we've had so much energy in Capricorn. When you get energy in Virgo and in Taurus, that creates a great, like a grand earth trine. And we have Uranus transiting through Taurus, and it will be for 5 more years. So we are changing the way we make money, folks. We're supposed to be changing the way we make money. The sooner we accept that, the sooner you'll be able to get on with creating your future. The sooner you accept the way things were before, what we thought was, our old version of normal. Once we realize that we may still have tastes of it, it's never going to go back to what it was. It is going to be different. We will be functioning different, because we are supposed to be changing our foundational structures of our government, of our work, of our business, of how we make money. That is all supposed to change. So we're in the midst of this, right? This is our growing pains. We're in the middle of it, and it's not fun, because it's like, wait a minute, no, I liked the way things were. But the universe is saying, I know you did, but you already mastered the way things were. The reason you came to be is to grow, to learn. And so the universe is making changes, and it's saying, how adaptable can you be to change? As long as you can adapt, you're going to be fine. But as long as you stay fixed and you refuse to change and you hold on to the past, you are making it harder for yourself. Hold on to the past and refuse to change. You are making it harder on yourself. So your wishing time will be either late in the day on the 16th or early in the morning on the 17th. Okay, you know your schedule. You know what works for you. But in Central Standard Time, where I'm living, it happens at 6 a.m. And that is the time when the moon and the sun are exactly on top of each other. Okay, and so that is the moment of power, right? Now, it doesn't mean if you miss that exact moment that it's over and done with. No, you just want to make sure you do it when the moon is in the Virgo energy. And the moon takes only, within 2 hours, it'll move another degree, right? And if it's at 25, there's only 5 degrees left of Virgo energy. So that means within 10 hours, it'll be going into the sign of Libra. And when it's in the sign of Libra, it's different. It's taken on a different meaning already. It's already out of this, right? So your goal is to either place your intentions before you go to bed, write them down on the 16th, or first thing in the morning on the 17th, okay? Now, there are those who have a different schedule, and so they may be able to do this at exactly the time of the new moon. Wonderful, right? Wonderful. But it's all going to be about your future work. And it's not just work, but it is also your future work in conjunction with your health routines, right? It's about establishing financial security, but making sure that the work you are establishing for your future is good for your body, is good for your health. Because Virgo is all about our health. It is about our best practices to be and stay healthy. Now, folks, remember, the sign of Virgo is also hygiene. So this is the washing of the hands. That's part of hygiene, right? And this is fascinating when we think about the times that we're in, right? And the times that we've been in. Because when all this began, there's a video way back in March or April, can't remember which one it was. I'd have to go look it up. But we had a Virgo full moon at that time. And boy, when we had that Virgo full moon, this is when all the information started flooding in about the virus, about the ugly bug, and about, oh my gosh, we need to be washing hands, we need to be doing this, we need to be doing that. It was fascinating how all that worked out. But here we are with a new moon in Virgo. So we have this new knowledge now in hygiene that we had before. It's not actually new, But we've always had it. We've always known after you use the bathroom, wash your hands, right? After you cough, if you're coughing and sneezing, please get a tissue, right? And if you've sneezed or coughed into your hands, please wash your hands, right? We've always known that, right? We were raised and we were told like that, those were our manners. Like that's what we were taught. Don't cough in someone's face, right? Like this is just part of life. But some way, somehow we got lost. We got distracted. Our manners weren't being taught. And then, yeah, it's almost as though the way that we were, the things that we forgot, kind of came back to bite us. This is a reminder of our best practices for hygiene and for health, okay? About to cook food for the family, wash your hands. Like there's all these things, right? There's all these little things that we know, but when we get busy, we're like, "Oh, I can do that later," right? Or we just sidestep it and we don't do it. The other part of Virgo is it's not simply just hygiene, folks. It is making sure that whatever work you're doing, it is good for your body. Okay? And not only good for your body, but it's got to be good for your mind. It's got to be good for your soul. And I know that is a really tough deal. I know I've spent, 30 years of my life doing stuff that, just physically depleted me and at the same time mentally depleted me and all that. And I get it. It's really hard. It's not everybody gets to do something that is spiritually, mentally, and physically good for them and that puts bread on the table. I know that is one of the hardest things, operating as this spiritual being in this physical body, working in a 3D realm, and yet at the same time having all these other sensitivities and having to operate in a way where we have our feelings and our empathy, and many times that's downplayed as though it doesn't matter, right? But no, that's all changing. It is truly changing. The sign of Cancer, the sign of the public and our emotions and the mother goddess energy, this is all coming into play here, okay? And you see Cancer squares the Libran energy. Cancer opposes the government. Cancer energy, the public, opposes the rules and the law. It does. It opposes all that. I said law, I kind of misspoke there. But Saturn's there, and so it does set up rules, right? And the rules in our government and the rules in our society become laws, right? They create laws. So the public, right, and seeing the abuses of power, and that's Pluto there, the revelations that are going to be coming. And that leads me to the next part of this informative video. So it's not just about the new moon. We're going to take a little bit further of a walk, all right? What's going to be happening down the line? We're going to see, if you see here, you see Mercury at 17 degrees. Now, Mercury moves pretty fast, okay? What you need to know here is that Mercury, this sign, Libra, all right, is opposing the Aryan energy, okay? And we see that Libra's at 17, Mercury is at 17. Mercury is this little person that has the little antennas because Mercury is the messenger of the gods. Mercury brings information, the universal frequencies down to man, and we get information. When that idea just pops in your head, you're like, where did that come from? That's Mercury bringing you information. If you look, is 90 degrees away from the Capricorn energy. So this is information. This is social media. This is news. This is Mercury. Right? That's the Paul Revere bringing you information. The British are coming. This is Paul Revere information. So 30, 60, 90, that's a quick way to see. 90 degrees away, again, is the tension, the stress, the testing. It's called a square. Mercury, as it moves along, it'll be squaring Jupiter, which looks like the number 4, a fancy number 4 at 1726. Then it'll be squaring Pluto at 2233. And then it'll be squaring Saturn at 2527. That's what the red lines are for. And it will be getting tighter, which means there will be information coming through, okay? And we're probably not going to like it because it's a square. It's going to create stress in our life in some way, okay? Now, Mercury moves fast, so don't let this upset you. Mercury moves really fast. In the month of September, Mercury was actually at the latter degrees. Listen to this. Mercury was actually at 25 degrees Virgo in the beginning of September. It was over here. Okay? It was where the sun and the moon are right now, which is fascinating. That's not a coincidence. I want you to think about that, okay? So at the beginning of September, remember the full moon of September, right? It was like September 2nd, we had a full moon. Mercury was at 25 degrees then. And that was when the full moon was in Pisces. Now at the new moon, at the September 17th, we've got the sun and the moon at the same degree where Mercury was located. So it was about job, okay? It was about health, it was about routines, it was about projects, work projects, right? Mercury was here, okay? So here we are September 17th, and Mercury is now already here. So before September's over, Mercury is going to go into the sign of Scorpio. That's how fast Mercury moves. So in other words, once Mercury gets out of Libra, it will no longer be squaring Saturn and Pluto and Jupiter. It'll be done with that. It's going to move quick. So it'll be a momentary stress. But I will highlight again that Mercury does represent social media. It also represents siblings and coworkers, okay? It's your neighbors. It's people that you see in your daily routines. They're around you. You know, you talk to them all the time, right? It's your peers. It could be people at school, like if you're a student, okay? Definitely coworkers. Remember, Mercury is all about networking and touching in with others that you have things in common with, and that's why we call it the sibling sign. It's all about people that you're related to. But how many of you listening, and tell me in the comments below, how many of you listening have people in your life that are not your blood relatives, but you consider them your brother or your sister, or your mother even, actually? Like, think about that. The Mercury energy is people that you have in your life that you just have this deep resonating energy with, and you just understand each other, and you feel like you just feel really close. You know, it's like that sibling energy. Let me know below. And so that square that you see will dissipate, will end, okay? Because Mercury will then go into Scorpio energy, all right? And that's nice to know, because at that point, the only thing we'll have to really be concerned about, really, will be, you know, Mercury over here, who moves very fast, will then be opposing Uranus. And that's for October, so we'll get into that later on. We'll get into that hopefully by the end of this month. By the end of September, I will already have the October video up for you so that you can get that information ahead of time, the Venus factor. Now, you see, this chart is pulled up around on the new moon. And what I love is September 14th, September 15th, September 16th, Venus would have been exactly squaring Uranus. Now, I did say I love this, and I did, because a Venus square isn't bad. I know that doesn't make sense. I know it's complicated, but all you need to know is Venus is the only planet, which, by the way, Venus is that little person. There's no antennas. It's just a little head with the body that's, you know, like the little stick figure body with the big old head. Venus is a feminine energy. It is about my values and my resources. It's about my money, okay? Now, if you take a look, it's squaring Uranus energy. And Uranus, which I'm calling Tyrannus because it's in Taurus. Now, Venus rules Taurus. So this means they're having a mutual reception going on. They are talking, okay, and they're communicating. And even though they have a square, a 90-degree angle square going on, there is an understanding between them, because Uranus understands Venus a little bit, because Uranus is in the sign of Taurus. So it takes on some of those Venusian qualities. Uranus is like shocks and surprises with your money, right? And so Venus is here squaring that. Shocks and surprises is the sign of Uranus. It wants you, I touched on this earlier, it wants you to figure out a new way to make money. Okay? And the only time we're going to do that is when we are uncomfortable or when we are no longer making money. Okay? Now, does this have to mean we're completely quitting a job or leaving a job? No. It doesn't have to be that. Okay? Depending on your personal chart, it can be. But I would never say that looking at a general chart reading. What I do want you to focus on are other avenues of income. Instead of having one income stream, I want you to start expanding yourself. Get out of your comfort zone and start thinking of some of your other skills and habits where you can maybe bring in other income streams. And I'm saying this because of this. Not just because Venus is squaring the sign of Uranus, and it's about money. It's about my values and my income. Because again, it's not just about money. Values is also my love and who I love. All right, keep that in mind. So yes, this represents romance, right? The sign of Leo is all about relating and, you know, dating and mating and how we have a good time with our bodies together with somebody else, right? So for some people, this could be a new love interest, a new, a flirty new thing beginning, because that's what Venus squaring Uranus is many times. But it could also be flirting with money, taking a risk with your money. All right, think about that. If you're thinking of investing, if you're thinking of buying something, this is what Venus is thinking about. And squaring Uranus, you're going to feel a really, I know I'm already, don't ask me how, but I'm already feeling, because Venus is in the last degrees of Cancer. And as it gets close to the Leo energy, I am starting to think of ways that I can invest money for my future. But it's so funny. I love coins. And so I've been looking at different coins, like bullion and stuff, and, some of the silver coins and some of the really minted, beautiful stuff, because I like the detail on those. But I haven't done it. I haven't taken that dive. Not that I have a lot to do that with, but I've just thought to myself, if there's going to be anything to invest, like, why not be smart, right? Like, do it in something that isn't going to depreciate in value, right? And so I think Venus has been really doing that with me in my mind. And so I don't know if any of you out there have been doing that or been going over that, but thinking of new ways to invest for your future, thinking of new ways to create new streams of income for your future. This is what this is about, in addition to the North Node. Now, the North Node is here in Gemini energy. And yes, this is the sign of Gemini. And you see these two little pillars because Gemini energy ultimately does hold like a masculine and a feminine quality to it. So it can be interchangeable. It's left and right. It's this and that. It's up and down. Gemini is duality. It holds the left and the right within it. It is all about, I can say this 1 minute and then all of a sudden flip and be over here and say something else that seems to contradict what I just said over here. All right, that is Gemini energy. The goal, the way we work with Gemini energy, is to be in the middle, to have a little bit of this and to have a little bit of that, and in essence, learn how to homogenize these energies. Right? Which is just the combining of them so that they can work as one. And this is difficult for a lot of us. And some of us don't even recognize our Gemini qualities. We don't recognize the duality that we have within ourselves, but recognizing that Gemini is how you talk. It's how you think. It's how you relate. Okay? It's how you speak. All right, that's Gemini. It's the communicator, right? Its ruler is Mercury. And so what is beautiful is that Mercury in the month of September, when it gets to this 25 degrees that I spoke about earlier, which means it'll be squaring the Saturn 25, at the same time, okay, right before it gets to Saturn actually, it'll be trining, you're going to get information, it'll be trining the North Node. Mercury will get information, we'll be talking to the North Node in Gemini, and Mercury rules Gemini. So this is definitely about your future. Money about your future. And business relationships or love relationships, because it's the sign of Libra. Things being equal, fair, and balanced, right? So if you're in a partnership and for whatever reason you've never been getting any money or you've been getting a smaller cut, all of a sudden there is a way to reestablish balance here. You're getting information and communication from the North Node to Mercury about how to secure your financial future in a way where it's more fair and balanced for you. But it's definitely about a relationship, a partnership of some sort. So this could be business partnership, but also understand if it's not business partnership, if it's not a marriage, it can very simply be working one-on-one with people. And this has come up big for me recently. I heard the universe literally coming through and screaming this at me. And then somebody else, like hours later, text me or sent a message to me and said, gee, would you consider having a visual one-on-one with me? I would really like that. I think I would get more out of that with you. I don't know if you do that type of thing, but would you consider it? And oh my God, I was so excited, and I had to message them back, and I even took a picture and showed them the piece of paper. I said, the universe just told me this hours before, like the night before I went to bed, and here you are confirming and telling me the same thing, and you're telling me you want that and that you would love that. And so that is what Libra is also. it's working one-on-one with people, consultations, right? So that could be health consultations, fitness consultations, food consultation. I mean, you could do anything when it comes to consultations, right? Like life coaches, that's what they do, right? And for me, that's astrology, right? And that's what that is, a one-on-one consultation, but a private one, not somebody just watching a video. So apparently that is definitely the next step for me. And so for you, I'm just sharing all this to give you a glimpse into what's going to be, because the next thing that's going to happen, folks, okay, I want you to see this. This is good. Is this over here in Aquarian energy. I touched on this earlier in the video. This is in January, okay? We're going to have Saturn is going to be here in the beginning of this sign. This is an air sign, okay? This is Aquarius. Now you see the color, so that means it trines this and it trines this. Now, Saturn's going to be here with Jupiter holding hands together, entering the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius represents thinking outside of the box. Aquarian is group energy. But if we're operating in that group energy properly, it is how I retain my unique individuality within the group energy. This is relating in unique ways, communicating. It is thought. It is thinking. This is Tesla energy. I'm always saying Tesla. It's electricity. It's advancements for humanity. It is working with the internet. This is where Saturn and Jupiter together will be. Now, knowing they're going to be here in January, and right now, we are getting a foreshadow, so to speak, of the nodes who will be here in Gemini all the way through 2021. Okay, that means that Jupiter and Saturn will be working their way through this sign. And as they do, they will be trining with the moon's nodes as the moon's nodes move backwards. Because they do, they move backwards. And right now, right? I'm telling you about Mercury being at 25 degrees, talking to Saturn, and one-on-one relationships and business partnerships and working one-on-one with people for consultations. What is it that you're good at? What is it that, what sort of a skill set do you have? Even if it's not out there or if it is already out there, I'm telling you right now, okay, listen to me. There is something you have, a trait, a quality. There is something you have within you that makes people feel good. Okay? There is something about you. There's a light inside of you that helps others. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's there. I know it's there. I'm getting downloads right now saying you are a light body, right? There's neutrinos coming in. And when you let your light shine, it is your light that lights the light of the others that come into contact with you. And that is what this is about. The age of Aquarius. It is, don't be afraid to be the individual. Don't be afraid to do the one-on-ones, the face-to-face. Even though we're getting to a time in our society where we're like education's online, we're getting out of the classroom, right? We're doing all our communication online. We're not sitting down face to face and talking with people. But guess what? That face-to-face thing you were doing, why people love to get with you, to sit down and have a drink with you and to have a talkie talk with you, this is now your way of moving forward and saying, hey, I'm good at this. What is it that you're good at? And take it to people one-on-one. This is the way that we move forward using the internet. This is the way that we move forward meeting with people one-on-one and not in groups within our community. This is how we move forward in talking, speaking, and relating and communicating. The air signs are thought, are talking, are communicating, and you see them here in orange, okay? So this is siblings. This is people in my immediate environment. This is my one-on-one relationships, the people that I love. This is the group energy. Do you see how they're going to be trining each other, okay? They're trining, which means they add ease, adding ease to the ways that we relate and communicate. So even if we don't have the internet, right, at our disposal, like we don't have a computer, we don't have a laptop, there are ways that we can reach out to people and say, hey, if we can't do that, can we at least meet one-on-one and relate that way, right? Safe ways of relating one-on-one. And right now, in the midst of the virus, in the midst of a pandemic, that may be how it works, folks, right? You may have to go into a place, you want to buy a pair of shoes, and guess what? They're only letting one person at a time. So you get customized attention, right? There's nobody else around. The salesperson, you're all theirs. Like all their focus is on you. They're catering to you. And it looks like this is a time where we're going to find out what it is that you can offer another person in your life. What is your speciality? I want you to figure this out. I'm excited. I want you to comment below. Meet me there. Talk to me. If you want help, if you want me to take a peek at your chart, all you got to do is say, hey, G, I'm new. I need a little bit more info. Look me up. Elevate, folks. We're going to elevate together, and this is what our future holds. How we work together and how we find unity within our community. Remember, you are the light, and it is your light. When you let it shine, you will light the light for others.